Everything was okay, everything was perfect today, relatively speaking, except for the aloofness that I'm always crying about that people have, such as not listening intently, me having to repeat myself, having to point out the obvious, and they still don't get it because they're not actively listening, blah, blah, blah. Well, today I had a lady get mad at me because I had to redirect her to another lane. I had already called my supervisors and asked to be excused to go to the restroom. This was about 2 minutes before this lady showed up because I was already about to close off before my call, but I like to close off after my call just in case for some reason my request is denied. Therefore, I did not have my next lane sign up for the lady who arrived before the lady who got mad at me ever made it to my register. So anyway, I help the lady whose turn it actually is, and I put my sign up right when she's done unloading her stuff. I place it at the very end, and I like to leave a gap between my sign and the items so that it stands out a little more. I feel like you're more likely to see it when it's a little bit separate than if it's right next to the last item that they have because it could blend. I get it. So anyway, I noticed that there is this lady who is about to get mad at me right there, and I simply expressed, "Ma'am, just a heads up, my lane is closed." And she was just like looking around, looking to the side, pretending to look at the items that are surrounding my register. And I say pretending because I know that classic behavior. I saw her approaching my register. There was nothing else left on my belt, and I saw that she saw my sign. So, anyway, I continue to assist the current customer. This person is dismissing me. I said, "Oh, okay, you're dismissing my sign. All right, whatever." I finish up my order, and then that lady who's about to get mad at me began to unload. It was like 3 items. And I go, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but just so you know, I'm closed." And then she was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Number 6 is open. That register will be able to assist you at this time." And guys, just to give you a visual idea, this is my next lane sign. This is the gap that I have next to the sign. This would be about where the end of my belt is, and this is where my scale and my scanner are beyond this point. She begins to unload her like half a cart full of groceries right here, and my belt is off. Therefore, it's not like this sign was at the end of my register, like at the very, very end, and my belt was like completely like clear. Nothing like that. It was, my sign is here, right dead center of my belt. There's like about this much gap between the sign and what's left of my belt, and then right here is when the rest of my register lies, like my scale, my scanner, and everything. She attempted to unload her cart full, half a cart full, right here in this tiny gap, and I went like at the sign. I'm like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm closed at this time. Register 6 is ready for you." Because I'm currently off duty. And she was like, "What the fuck? There was somebody here literally a second ago." And I'm like, "Right. My next lane sign was posted. Therefore, I have to go. I'm not available at this time. I'm sorry." And she keeps cussing. She's like, "This is ridiculous. I'm right fucking there." And she don't want to help, like always. "You're making up shit on my behalf. I'm never running away from my duties. I'm just a human being who needs to go to the bathroom, and you guys would know that I definitely need to go to the bathroom considering what I'm going through." And that is something that I get very often. Most people do well, So this is like a once every few months incident. Most people, when I point it out, I'm like, hey, just a heads up, I'm closed. They say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Or, oh, that's right, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention. Or they say, oh, no problem. Like maybe you were testing the waters and you just accept that I'm not kidding. Next lane and my light being off means next lane I am not open indeed. It just frustrates me that when I'm actually open, y'all keep questioning if I'm actually open, if I'm serious. Like I'm standing there, my sign is not up and my light is on. What else could it fucking mean? But then when I'm actually closed and my sign is up and you see me that I'm cleaning up to go, my light is off. Remember, my sign that very clearly states next lane, and you just try to plow your way into my fucking register. I don't understand that. No amount of cussing, no amount of you giving me like a nasty attitude is going to intimidate me into changing my mind. You can threaten to talk to the manager all day long. The manager is gonna be like, well, at that moment in time, she was off duty. Somebody else will be with you. And that was the truth. The register I was referring her to had just opened, and there was literally nobody waiting in line. So she had this meltdown for nothing, because first of all, you decided to ignore and dismiss my sign, which could have saved you the trouble. You ignored me the first time that I was communicating to you that I was indeed closed, because you decided to just browse around even though you know you're not going to pick up anything. And I know that you're not going to pick up anything because I deal with your kind every day. I just detest that. And like always, it is the women doing that. I have never had a man pull that shit on me. That is something that I can say men deal with significantly better. First of all, I rarely have to point out that my sign is up. The last time I said that to a guy, it's been ages. They instantly understood and they left. But it's always the women who gotta have the meltdown, gotta give you the attitude, are not accepting, and they challenge you. And I'm like, well, you think you have authority? You think you're pretty? Well, I know I have authority, and I'm definitely super pretty too. Not only do I think it, but I know I am. So your prettiness competing with my prettiness, we're colliding there. What is it gonna be? And I'm not willing to lose. So yeah, you guys, I just thought I would share that story because like I just wish that I was in a really bad dream and I could just go back to a past when I knew that people were in a better behavior. But unfortunately, this has been happening since forever. I think I'm just catching the worsening of that season dealing with the public. Like I've said before, my frustration is because not only does it not support my personality, which is I genuinely like to be quiet and I genuinely like for people to speak what's necessary, but at least I was preparing for politeness. I was raised with manners, waiting for my turn to speak, listening intently, being respectful of everyone from the janitor to the landscaper to the manager to the person above the manager, all that, the teacher, the banker, the post office clerk, everybody. But I'm not necessarily being the religious recipient of respect in the same manner that I give it. And that is the part that frustrates me because like I have said before, and you guys have told me that indeed everything that I prepared for was going to be a lie, but I still feel frustrated that I was raised properly and I'm trying to apply what I actually learned, but that doesn't matter. That respect is not present anymore. And I'm having trouble coping and accepting that. I mostly accept it, but I just refuse to accept it as absolute reality for the rest of my life. And fortunately, I can say that incidents like this, they are far in between, but when they happen, it still sucks. It still affects you. At least I can say that that's not something that I deal with at least daily. Like, I can say I can go a whole month without anyone trying to challenge me like that, but I just hate that it's a challenge at all. So anyways, I thought I would share that and also let you guys know that I'm feeling significantly better. I finished my shift. I didn't have any incidents, and everyone who remembered my event from yesterday checked up on me. It was great. It was a pretty nice shift. I'm starting to miss doing this. Something about just sitting here and rambling and expressing my thoughts. I guess this has the effect in me that other people who talk to everybody about nothing, even if you don't know someone so well, that degree of socializing. I like socializing with myself with the potential to see a good interaction months down the line when I do decide to visit the comments. So yeah, I just feel like this is a good way to just let it out and sit out here with the birds and enjoy whatever's left of the relatively cool weather. It's only like 77 degrees right now. I know that this time next month, this is not gonna be possible. And that makes me sad, because then I have to wait until October for it to start cooling down enough to where I can be out here with the car off. Or maybe this will be a pleasant summer. Maybe it won't get as horribly steamy as it can get, but I won't hold my breath.